CNBC recently reported that Spotify, the music streaming services, will be going public this year. Now, CNBC notes that Spotify has claimed that the shares of the company have been trading as high as $132.50 on the private market, giving the company a valuation of over $23 billion. The Stockholm-based service has 71 million paid subscribers and has yet to turn a profit, which is odd when you think about the revenue that they're bringing in. Now, that's proof that bigger doesn't necessarily get you to profit. Positioning does. Once a company chooses a direction, many times it becomes difficult to shift its momentum and adjust its strategic positioning. In today's business climate, anyone can come from nowhere and unseat the number one company. We can find an example of this in the current battle taking place in the music distribution industry. In 2014, Pandora was the leading music streaming company. At the time, they had counted 72.4 million active users with an 8.4% share of radio listening. Spotify, which had previously claimed 24 million active users and 6 million subscribers, didn't make those numbers publicly available, but analysts believe that Pandora had held a firm lead and that Pandora had claimed as much. Spotify, which started in 2011, was clearly an underdog. The reported reason was Pandora's search algorithm, at one time considered heads and tails the best in the industry. Yahoo News stated in November 2013 that it made them unsinkable. Hopefully by now you understand that no company is unsinkable. But in case you still don't get it, let's take a look at the Pandora killers. In early December 2013, Pandora announced that they would be providing free on-demand services for mobile users. What did this mean? Well, it meant that you could now download the Spotify app and create playlists with specific songs that you like. What was the trade-off that Pandora's strength had? Well, they were relying on their algorithm to pick songs for their subscribers. Spotify completely sidestepped that strength by offering their listeners exactly what they wanted. No more hoping that the next song is the one you like, you were guaranteed. The reach that Spotify had would effectively allow them to eventually make Pandora, Slacker, and possibly even iTunes Radio obsolete. They needed to either change to meet the new game, or they needed to run the risk of becoming the next Blockbuster Video. Now, Spotify had always stated that they weren't trying to take away from those buying from places like iTunes. It was just the opposite. Russ Krupnick, Senior Vice President of Industry Analysis at NPD Group, stated, "The thing that people often forget is that Spotify customers are actually the best iTunes customers out there." Spotify executives backed that statement up by stating that its customers spent twice as much as the average music consumer. It appeared clearly that they weren't trying to take on Apple directly, and for good reason. They don't want to bite off more than they can chew. Little did they know that Apple was watching the field and looking for a way to score. The sleeping giant had been awakened. Enter Dr. Dre and Beats Entertainment. Beats was purchased by Apple for $3 billion. Beats' model being the same as Spotify's, but they only claimed 250,000 paying members to its service. With Spotify valued at more than $1 billion more, the choice to purchase Beats over them was obvious. The acknowledged reason Apple paid so much for Beats? In 2013, sales of a single track music slid by 6%, while whole album purchases were flat at 118 million. The playing field is a constant shift. If Apple wanted to continue to dominate the music distribution industry, it needed to adapt. Again. Beats had the team, the connections, and the framework to take them to their next leg of their journey. Guys, they didn't buy Beats for the headphones. They bought them for the music that was going to be streaming out of them. They bought Beats for the team of Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. They believe that they have the insight, the innovation, and the connections to make Apple the recrowned leader in music distribution. Fast forward to 2017, Apple's become the second largest streaming service right behind Spotify with 36 million subscribers. But they're growing in the US at a 4% faster rate than Spotify. With the accessories such as the HomePod, Apple is projected to pass them as the leader in the streaming industry. Still think of them as a tech company? Some would suggest that this growth comes at the cannibalization of their iTunes service. Now, Tim Cook sees it more of an evolution more than anything. You have to be willing to kill yourself before your competition does. What you leverage as differentiation today can become your detriment tomorrow. What are your rivals doing to change the game? Are you playing out of a playbook that's outdated or underperforming? Are they? What can you do to update your playbook to change the game? How is your rival innovating in a way that you can outmaneuver them? Is your business reliant on a technology or a service that's at risk of disruption? A better question, what is your strategic trade-off? Where is your rivals?